Live like you're in 1912. That's what 21% of Iowans decided to do when they catapulted Ron Paul to a close third-place finish in the Iowa caucus. If Ron Paul gets elected president, he will abolish the Federal Reserve.
They cannot stop. They're addicted. It's like a drug addict.
An economy on withdrawal from the Fed means no centralized bank, no set interest rates, no money printing, and it means a free market regulated in part by gold.
It's hard to even fathom such a scenario. Going back to a pre-Fed cycle, then you have much longer and deeper recessions and much more jarring business cycles. I think it would clobber entrepreneurship, and a lot of entrepreneurs would go to more stable economies like those of Western Europe, emerging Asia, even Canada. For the world's largest economy to basically abandon economic stewardship would be, in my opinion, fairly catastrophic.
Banks issued their own banknotes backed with gold reserves, and if you wanted to buy a cup of coffee, down here in Princeton, you'd have to give your, Citibank banknote to the cashier, and they'd have to decide whether they trusted whether or not Citibank had sufficient gold reserves to pay it off. They'd have to sit around worrying about whether this bank or that bank is solvent or not, and whether they have the sufficient reserves.
A Ron Paul government could also lose well over $1 trillion a year. There would be no income, estate, or capital gains tax, and the corporate tax rate would be cut by 20% to 15%. In 2011, the government made $2.3 trillion. Under Ron Paul, that number could shrink to just over $1 trillion. Social Security and interest payments on debt alone would almost soak up all of the revenue. And the Congressional Budget Office says the government annual spending on net interest will more than double in the next 10 years as a share of GDP.
Propose changes to the government at a time when people are unhappy with the government, to propose reducing the budget by cutting cabinet agencies at a time of excessive debt and deficit, problems and everything that people worry about. That it may be unrealistic, but it's not a bad platform to run on politically.